What are the best weapons for the assault class after all of the updates implemented to Battlefield 1 until March of 2018? I've mentioned this type of video some time ago and I kept constantly getting questions. Why haven't you released your video yet? Other YouTubers already did it. And now you have the answer. They released their videos, but now those are irrelevant because new DLCs came out and also new updates were implemented. Let's be honest, things changed, especially for the assault class. And now, after we got all of the promised DLCs released, I feel like it's an appropriate time to actually dive into this topic and explain the best weapons for the assault class. I've been thinking quite a lot how to make this video and how to structure it properly, considering that we pretty much have two types of players. The ones who own premium and therefore they have access to all of the DLC weapons, and the ones that don't. So what about those? If I list DLC weapons as the best ones, what should the people without DLCs do? So I decided that if the best weapon for a certain scenario or situation is from the DLC, I'll just suggest a replacement from the vanilla guns. And as easy as it sounds, let's get right into it and see what weapons you want to choose to completely dominate your opponents. Since we are talking about the assault here, we all know that we are meant to go aggressive. Close quarter combat fights, pushing objectives, fighting multiple enemies and doing it from a very short distance. And all of that brings us to the SMG-0818, which is literally the best weapon you can get to fight enemies on the close distances. And if you haven't played the game for a while, you might be actually surprised. What happened? Isn't the Automatico the best one? Well, turns out it's not. And it's not the machine and pistol either. The so-called SMG-08 came to the game with the Russian DLC called In the Name of the Tsar, and you might remember the previous version of it. It was slow, it wasn't really that effective, but all of this changed in the February update. DICE decided to increase its rate of fire to 770. If you want to compare it to the Automatico, well, it's still at 900, but with the SMG-08 you get 81 bullets. That means you can easily take out 3 enemies before you have to reload, and if you're accurate or your enemies decide to line up, you can easily take it to even 4 or 5 kills before you have to perform a reload. If you can't really picture how this weapon works now, or you can actually see it in the gameplay, but if you can't imagine the feeling of using it, imagine that you're using Automatico and Hellriegel combined together at the same time. That's basically what this gun is. As majority of Battlefield 1 weapons, it can kill enemy in 4 shots, but it has quite terrible recoil on a longer distances. Naturally, since it's meant to be a close quarter weapon, you're not really gonna extend the range with it, but that's fine. It fits perfectly where it's supposed to. The only actual downside of this weapon is the fact that it takes longer to aim down the sights, same as with the Hellriegel after the February update. Sadly, if you don't own the DLCs and therefore you don't have access to the DLC weapons, you will have to stick with the Automatico. Personally, I'd recommend an Automatico Storm, but still, this isn't really the greatest weapon now. It got nerfed. It takes 5 bullets to kill someone instead of 4, as with the SMG-08, and also on top of that, the overall accuracy of the weapon got nerfed as well, and it's really not that easy to play with it anymore. I'm not saying it's not effective, I'm just saying that in my not so humble opinion, the SMG-08 is way better option. But what if you want to go for the medium range engagements? Well, hello there, because I got the Rebel Royce for you. I'm sorry if you're French and you heard me pronouncing this name, I still cannot learn how to properly say it. But either way, it is just perfect after the TTK update. It wasn't really that effective compared to the other assault weapons when it was first introduced to the game with the They Shall Not Pass DLC. But now that couple of updates got implemented, TTK update happened and all of the other things, This weapon is practically the best medium to even long-range weapon for the assault class. Same as with the SMG-08, it only takes 4 bullets to take out an enemy. Also, it can hold 25 bullets in the magazine, and on top of that, it's got a fire rate of 550. I know weapon statistics are boring, but I need some way of showing you differences between those guns. The rebate in general is incredibly accurate, and it's probably the most versatile weapon for the assault class. You can go up close, hip fire enemies, you can also go on the medium range, take them out, and you can deploy a bipod and snipe out snipers on a longer distances. Yes, you can really do that. If you don't own the premium, well, you're stuck with the Hellriegel, and that's pretty much it. We all know the weapon, everyone's been complaining that it's overpowered for over a year, and finally it got nerfed to the point where it's really not the best weapon for the assault anymore. Granted, it still has a huge magazine that can hold 60 bullets and you can easily spray down enemies from up close. But when it comes to its accuracy, at this point it's nowhere near being as good as the rebate. Also, the Hellriegel got another nerf and it takes now longer to aim down the sights with it. Which of course doesn't immediately render it useless, but if you do own DLCs and have access to the Rebel Royce, that's just the way to go for now. And moving to the last section of the weapons, that being the long distance, of course, long distance isn't really that long if we are talking about the assault class here, but still. The most suitable gun to choose here is the M1917 Trench Carbine. Surprise, surprise, it is yet another DLC weapon. This one came to the game in December along with the first half of Turning Tides DLC. You can now see why I also wanted to suggest weapons from the vanilla game as a replacement. Because realistically, all of the weapons in this video, the best ones out of the best ones, are from DLC. The M1917 Trench Carbine deals 34 damage per one shot, which makes it a free shot kill weapon up close. But don't get excited yet, because the weapon is single fire. Yes, it is the only weapon for the assault class that doesn't allow you for the semi or automatic fire. Although, it's really not that big of a deal, because its magazine can hold 41 bullets and its accuracy is so great that you can literally keep spamming the button and you don't get any recoil. Or almost any. But what's the difference? You're still gonna hit the guy. And you're gonna do it on extremely long ranges. At least for the assault class. And there's not much more to say here. It's just another great weapon, and once you decide to play with it, you'll just go psh 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 everyone around you. And now comes the problem. Because if you were to ask me what weapon would I choose to replace it, I would say Rebel Royce. But this weapon is already from the DLC. So if you want a long-range weapon for the assault class, you will have to stick with the MP18. All three variants are great, and actually it all comes down to the personal preference. I prefer Trench variant because it doesn't require me to aim down the sights that much, and that's basically the only reason I keep using it over other versions of it. You could easily say that the optical variant is better since it offers sights and it's easier to aim with those at the longer distances. But then I would say, why would I need sights if I can just hipfire everyone and just don't even aim down the sights? Anyway guys, those would be the best weapons for the assault class. If you're still not following me on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. Just go there. It is on the screen right now, it is also in the description. Just click, bang out the follow button, and that's it. That's it. Also, if you have other favorite weapons or your best weapons, let me know down in the comments. I know it might be creepy, but remember that I do read all of your comments. I might not have time to reply, but I always read all of them. So make sure to leave down your opinion and, as always, If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and I see you on the battlefield!